Alfred.
He's Tony.
And we're Black Dice Gaming. So today we're going to be talking about, we're going to be doing a series on the affiliations, kind of deep dives, breakdowns, and analysis of each one, I think plenty of good information, not only for, veteran players, but especially newer players.
Yeah.
So without further ado, I think I'd be remiss to not start this thing off with the Avengers, one of the core box affiliations, which have changed a lot since that core box was released.
The list is huge now.
Well, they've gotten the most people added onto it out of any other of the affiliations. So most of the other affiliations have remained pretty static, but Avengers has changed up a lot. So, that kind of leads us into, what are your general thoughts about the Avengers affiliation?
I think one of my main thoughts is, like I mentioned before, the list is long. It's getting longer. We have a lot of different affiliations that we're probably going to be making videos off of, which is actually really kind of cool. But I would love to see those affiliations get bigger as well. So...
I think Avengers is the easiest one to add in just because so many of these people were, in the Avengers at some point. Even Spider-Man, which is not on the Avengers, but was in the Avengers at some point.
Well, if you looked at any of the movies, the comics, doesn't matter where you are.
Yeah, there's a lot of characters to draw from him, dude. So, yeah, I think that's one of my big three takeaways. I think for Avengers are the strong cast of characters, that are increasing every day. It's one of their biggest strengths. So you got 2-point characters. You got a nice mix of 3-point characters now. You got a lot of choices. In addition to the very strong, probably some of the strongest 4-point roster options in the game.
Yeah.
So, in addition to, they have lots of throws. That's a big thing of the Avengers. A lot of them are throwing people around. And because of that large roster size, they have a lot of flexibility. You can build a lot of rosters with them. You can do a lot of stuff. It's a good leadership ability that is just kind of, general and universal. It's not too difficult to build around. Yeah.
God.
And so that will bring us into the actual affiliation roster itself. So we have Captain America as leader, obviously. In addition to Black Panther, Black Widow. This is both versions of her now. So you have Black Widow and the Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. version. You can find updated, fairly recently updated affiliation rosters for everything on Atomic Mass's website under the Organized Rule tab. So other people we have on this affiliation, we got Captain Marvel, Hawkeye, Hulk, Iron Man, Thor, and Vision. And while Atomic Mass is not actually said yet, I think it's pretty safe to assume that Doctor Strange is going to be added to that list. And he adds a huge control element to that. Until we got Hawkeye and Black Widow, Avengers kind of really lacked.
So here's my question for you. So I just thought about it just now. If we haven't talked about it before, what is your favorite out of them?
Definitely Thor. I think Thor is the strongest of the Avengers, without a doubt.
God, yeah. I've seen you basically beat the heck out of me with Hawkeye.
I'm really a big fan of Hawkeye too. I think Hawkeye and Thor make most of my Avengers lists.
Yeah, he's violent.
Hawkeye's just once you get the hang of him, he's a great objective camper while throwing out tons and tons of conditions. So, but yeah, that is the affiliation lineup. Pretty strong roster. So you got a decent mix of 3-point options with Iron Man, Hawkeye, and Black Widow, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. You only have the 2 points, Black Widow, which kind of makes it a little bit difficult. But now with Hawkeye and Iron Man, I don't really see the need. I struggle to think of a roster where you would want 3-point, Avengers.
True.
And then, at the top end for our Avengers are still, also just as solid. Hulk and Thor.
Oh God.
Might be seeing them in a list later on. But as far as the affiliation ability goes, it's nothing too crazy. So what it does is, as long as Captain America is not dazed or KO'd, then the first superpower that every friendly model uses that turn is reduced by 1. So this changes the power economy of a lot of abilities in a major way. It allows you to now charge first turn with Thor.
And that's disgusting.
Yeah, it allows you to charge first turn with people that have charge. So Valkyrie or Zemo, charging first turn.
Another thing that you've mentioned to me, because even though I've played it quite a bit, he knows a lot more about the game than I do. But you've mentioned to me in the past is like it is only for superpowers, not attacks.
It is only for superpowers. I think that's a common mistake a lot of people make. But your first superpower each turn. That's what makes, for me, I think that it's even better with a lot of these reactive characters.
Yeah.
So characters like Ronan, where now you can throw out that judgment turn 1.
Jeez.
Without a power gem. So
That's insane.
yeah, there's a lot of stuff that gets changed around like that, And yeah, it only procs the one time, but that first turn, that's the times where it matters the most, That's one of Avengers' really their strengths, is that they can be very explosive early on because of that power reduction ability.
Oh yeah. Especially when you think about fighting in general, not just fighting in a game style, but fighting in general. That first hit is what sends the message to the other guy.
Yeah, so they are the offensive tempo, much less reactive, but that is just it's a real strong ability. I like it, and so as far as Avengers specific cards go, there's really the one specific Avenger card, and that is Avengers Assemble. So Avengers Assemble is you pay 1 power, and each Avenger, so it has to be an Avenger that's on the actual affiliation card. Each Avenger pays 1 power, and they get to move small. And so it's an active card, but it allows the rest of your team to move out of their activation. Now, a lot of players, I see them use or online, is they'll use this immediately. They'll try and burn it really early, to get into the action faster. And I don't necessarily think that's always the way you want to use it. In fact, I think it's generally better if you hold it off. Because not only are you sucking a bunch of power away from yourself turn 1 so that you cannot use on abilities and stuff now, but it really prevents your kind of counterplay and reactivity to the pushes and throws or Loki walkaways. This is, their weakness is this kind of, they are very proactive. And we're out there and we're punching you in the face, hey, we're the Avengers. But, they can be controlled and manipulated and moved around. And they don't have a lot of those same tools that some of the other factions do, in that same capacity. So, yeah, Black Widow, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Hawkeye kind of help with that, but it's still not really hard control elements in any kind of way. So until we get Doctor Strange, we really just don't see that on that team. And I think saving your Avengers Assemble until, a good opportunity arises after you've been pushed off the objective, or when you need just that little bit to get back into contesting range for gamma waves or something. I think that's where you're going to find the most bang for your buck on Avengers Assemble. And then some of the other cards you might see when you're playing Avengers, we have the 2 different attack cards. So we have the one with Iron Man, the Ricochet Blast, and then also Thunder Wave with Thor. I know you are really a big fan of these cards. Me, a little bit less so.
I just love how they actually, it's not just an attack. You're not just hitting one person. They're beams.
Yeah.
So we might want to explain to them a little bit about that. A beam is, instead of you just hitting one person, you're hitting one person and then everybody else that's in line.
Everyone that's under the marker. Yeah.
Yeah. When you're talking about something that's like a beam 5 or a beam 4, that's a distance. That's a lot of enemies that you can. I mean, if you just get them in line in just the right spot and just plow through them, you're probably going to take out or knock out a couple of them.
I mean, I don't think they're bad. You know, the attacks are good. I think power-wise, they're kind of efficient. The Thunderwave one's a little bit overcosted, but
I agree.
You know, my big problem with them is that they are highly situational. Is that, you know, not only do I need both of these characters, and yeah, I'm bringing Cap anyways, and I'm probably bringing Thor anyways.
Or even Iron Man.
But I need them to be next to each other, so they have to be close. And then I also need enemies to be within range, and I need to have power, right? So you need... It seems on its face like, oh yeah, it's attack, they just need to be close. Yeah, it's not that hard to pull off. Well, when you actually start thinking of all the different things that need to line up for me to be able to use this card, you know, effectively. I mean, not even like a best case scenario, but like maybe hitting like, you know, more than one person.
Here's
I think you need a lot of things to line up, and I would just rather have those 5 card slots are getting more and more tight every day, you know.
Yeah, but here's my question, and I'm not sure because I don't have it right in front of me. But is Thunderwave a beam?
Thunderwave is a beam.
It is a beam. Okay, because I wasn't sure if it was a beam or an area.
No, yeah, they're both beams.
Oh.
I mean, they're both good attacks. You know, they're not bad attacks. Especially, I think the Ricochet Blast is actually better because you get rerolls on everything. You know, so.
See, the whole idea is I think that the Thunderwave should have been an area attack, because if you've watched the movies, Iron Man blasts off Cap's shield. That obviously is a Ricochet blast.
Yeah.
Well, in the movie, when Iron Man actually hits Cap's shield with the hammer, that's what I was thinking more with the Thunderwave, where it just like obliterates the forest.
I mean, there's a lot. There's so many good cards now.
Oh yeah.
There's so many. Just the 8. Not even just the 8 alone. Like these would not make my 8. You know, the 5. It's tough. It's tough. Tough calls to make nowadays.
That's true.
But some of the other, you know, kind of Avengers affiliated cards, you know, that you're likely to see. The other 2 is we have the professionals with Hawkeye and Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. Black Widow. So that's one where they make you drop objectives and stuff. I think that one's pretty decent. That one's good.
Yeah.
I like that one. Till the End of Line with Bucky and Cap. I think that one's really strong. That one's kind of one you want to build around, though. You want a mission where, like Gamma Waves, or I'm blanking on the mission.
Where like where they're all close together.
Them. Yeah. So you want more clumped missions where having 2 bodies on the center objective is going to swing it in a big way for your family.
Yeah.
Because they can't move, they can't be pushed. They get extra defense dice, so they're tankier now. It's
not
rough.
only that, but if they decide to move to get out of the way of it, especially in our favorite, the gamma shelters, I mean, they're going to take damage by getting out of the way.
Well, no one's moving them out of the way once they pop that card.
No,
they can't be moved. So yeah, it's
fantastic.
That's pretty good. And so that kind of brings us to some of the lists. Some good Avengers lists, some popular, you know, meta lists. We're going to start off with one of my favorite Avengers lists, you know, at 17 points. I call it the Big Four. So it is Captain America, Thor, Black Panther, and Vision. So you have 4 very tanky, strong characters. They all have throws. So you have a lot of throws going around. You know, you have a good spread of attacks as well now with Vision on that team.
Yeah.
He's got the psychic attack. He's got energy.
You beat me to it. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yep. You have a nice coverage of attack types. You have a nice coverage of defenses. You have a lot of throws. You have 2 flight characters, so you can use drop off.
Oh yeah, Thor. Yeah, you're right. Right.
Yeah, Thor and Vision. So,
yeah, I forgot about the fact that
yeah, they're both both great targets for it. I mean, Vision is just, I mean, he's a good battery, so he's a good advanced R&D target. Yeah. Just, it's a very flexible team. It's really strong, and since you're only 4 characters at 17 points, it should be a lot easier for you to maintain priority with that team.
That's true.
So
that's why you like playing against me, because I have all these characters, and he has like 4.
I like my small teams.
Yeah.
I mean, depending on the missions, but you should be playing missions that are built into the strengths of those teams, you know?
True.
And so this, one of these, you know, the strengths of this team is, I mean, they can spread out pretty well. They're all pretty fast. Well, they're all medium, so not too fast. But
yeah, the one thing that I've liked, and I know you're probably going to mention it because it's both of our favorite, but is the 3-point team. Thor, Captain America, and Hulk.
yes, affectionately known as BDT, or Big Dick Thor.
Are we allowed to use that? Might have to beep that one out.
So the idea behind the list is that you are only playing it, or you're trying to play this on gamma waves.
Yeah.
And you're playing it at 15 points. So ideally, in this scenario, you have priority. But if you get gamma waves, I mean, I forget what the specific odds were, but it's something like a 60. It's a little bit over 60%, you know. So it's not guaranteed, but most of the time, it should work in your favor. You should be able to get, you know, gamma waves at 15 points.
Yeah, unless you're like me and get the priority and put the 15 point.
Well, that's what you want, is the 15 points.
Oh, it's 15?
Yeah.
This one's a small one, right? Are they smaller than 15 right now?
Nah, 15 is the smallest one.
So either way, you're...
Yeah, you want it at 15 because you are 3 characters at 15 points, and these are 3 of the beefiest characters in the game.
I thought they were higher.
Yeah, 6 points for Hulk, 5 points for Thor, 4 points for Cap.
Oh my gosh, you're right. Didn't even think about
15 points, 3 characters. You can... I mean, it's hard for a lot of affiliations to pull off 3-point, 15 character lists. So Black Order is one of the other ones that can do it. Yeah, the new BDT might be Big Dick Thanos. Talk about that later.
Yeah. That's great.
But yeah, for now, you know, you have those 3 on gamma waves at 15 points because not only do you have a big advantage with those 3 really strong characters, but it clumps the battlefield. It makes it a lot smaller. It allows you to brawl with them. In addition, you are running Gamma Launch. So this is a Thor-specific card where you spend 3 energy and you place a friendly character within 2. You place them within 5.
The one card I forgot when we played last time.
Yeah, Gamma Launch is what makes that list because you take Thor and you throw him onto the midfield, basically. And this is before, you know, this is your first or second activation. And so before Thor is even activated, he is in the midfield. He has 2 power and can charge because he's an Avenger.
Yep.
And so it allows you, either the enemy just cedes the middle point to you, or you have Thor beating the hell out of, you know, whoever is dumb enough to walk up and try and fight him.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's a lot of attacks because in our, you know, ideal scenario is that you also have priority here. And so not only are you going to bash them with Thor, you know, for your last activation, is at top of that next turn, you're going to do it all over again.
Jeez. And the thing is that,
you know,
you're not going to lose priority.
With the throw, well, not that first turn, absolutely not. And I mean, even against, unless you knock out 2 characters, which is, you can do.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, if you get the pinball action off of Thor.
Oh god, I remember that.
Yeah, the throw on that strike is really what makes him brutal. Just makes him absolutely brutal. But I think, you know, just to round up a little bit of the Avengers list, I want to go into what I think is a really strong Avengers core that you can build around, and that is Cap, Hawkeye, and the original 2-point Black Widow. That is a 9-point Avengers core. So that gives you 3 characters. So it makes it basically impossible at 17 points to break Affiliation. You can bring 2 4-point characters, or 5 and a 3, however you want to bring it up. But you have 8 points to play around with and bring in more characters. So you can play. It gives you a nice core. You have Cap, you have Hawkeye, kind of a good general character throwing out long range attacks, and you have your objective camper, and just annoying Peace and Black Widow. So it gives you a lot of tools that you can work with, and you can kind of you can add in really so many different characters to Avengers. I think that segues perfectly into some of those other good Avengers that we didn't see on our Affiliation card. So what's your favorite non-Avenger Avenger?
It's got to be Winter Soldier. Something about that whole retaliatory attack.
I like Winter Soldier. I mean, I think that Till the End of Line card is severely underrated. I think it's a really strong card. For me, my favorite Avenger, I think it has to be Ebony Maw. Ebony Maw in Avengers is...
Can you imagine that, though?
It is really comical to think about, but on the tabletop, it is a whole lot less comical. Because mind over matter for 1 power, disgusting.
Horrible.
Yeah, that throw also for 1 power if it's the first thing you do, disgusting. Bringing Shush, bringing that into your Avengers lineup. I mean, he brings a lot of tools that the Avengers don't have, and these strong control pieces and a big long-range throw.
Yeah. It's like I'm going to do this power against Captain America, and he's like, shh.
Yeah, I mean, that card and him, they just... Not only does he have a lot of synergies with the Affiliation, but he brings in a lot of good tools into the Affiliation as well. It's one of the big reasons I like, what's his name, Ronan the Accuser in Avengers as well. Throwing out those turn 1 judgments without a power gem. Black Dwarf's not bad either, because he does have a lot of superpowers. I mean, his power generation is not, bad. He's just reliant on the strike and getting in there. And, that Avengers bonus does help him out. It helps him get some juice those early turns, to be able to throw some of these out.
So here's a question for you then. Since you decided to ask me, what do I like to see? What would you like as something that we've spoiled, because we've spoiled quite a few, what would you like to see in the Avengers? That's another tough one. I didn't think about that till now. That's actually a great idea.
Like adding new Avengers?
Or if you've watched our past videos, if you haven't, you can always watch it afterwards. But we actually spoiled some Gen Con stuff that came out.
So
who had those? Right?
Ghost Rider, probably.
Oh, yeah.
I'm really looking forward to Ghost Rider.
Part of me?
He's one of my favorite superheroes. So.
Yeah, still part of me, and because you mentioned it, it's not official, but we think that would probably be where they go. Doctor Strange.
I think Doctor Strange is a pretty safe bet.
Oh.
But yeah, he kind of like Ebony is going to bring a lot of strong control pieces.
So
now that's actually a pretty interesting, Avengers lineup I would like to see. Something with Ebony and Doctor Strange.
God.
It's a lot of points. That's like, 14 points. Yeah. But, throwing a gym, there's a little 15-point action there, but that's...
For 2. You will never lose. There's no way.
There's 3 people.
Oh, it is still 3? Oh, yeah.
Well, you gotta have Cap.
Yeah, you gotta have Cap. So... Still 3. I mean, it's hard to really lose.
Yeah. I don't know if they're tanky enough to, actually live through it, but we'll see.
God, that's a good thought, though. I'd like to really see that, too,
now. Yeah, definitely. Well, I think we bloviated enough about the Avengers today.
I do believe as well.
But be on the lookout for, some more of these Affiliation breakdowns. Our next one's going to be the Cabal.
Makes sense. Yeah, that'd actually be a good way to go. And always, just so you know, we are always thankful for you guys coming to watch us. We do have a Patreon account. Feel free to take a look at it, peruse the different tiers that we have, and always like, share, and subscribe. That is what keeps us alive. We want to be able to give you guys new content. It's not always cheap or easy, but we're going to do everything we can to make sure you're informed and ready to play.
Well, he's Alfred.
And he's Tony.
Happy trails.